everyone.
Morning. Morning.
So, I was thinking about the tithes, and I didn't know what to say. I've had a lot of pain in my life, and I was thinking about that. But last week, PF mentioned quantify. And I thought, well, tithes. How do we quantify our tithes? We can, take our paycheck, take 10% of that. But who would really sit down and calculate that? No. So, we can quantify things like our pay per hour, how much a gallon of gas is, but we can't quantify tithes, because God gives us stuff like happiness, joy, sorrow, jobs. In fact, jobs is what I'm actually going to be talking about. So, when I first came to Faith for Living, I gave just 10% of my financial needs. I looked at that recently as just my financial, not the emotional or anything like that. So, I was supposed to change departments at work a week ago, on Friday. And 2 days before I was supposed to go in for my first day, I got a call from a different manager in a different department, asking me to work for her as well. So these two managers were arguing over me in front of the general manager of the store. Oh, I want him more, no, I want him more, blah, 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 blah. And they had noticed how much of a helper I was. Because during the winter time, we had laid off 60% of the workers at Miracle Gardens. I was only a cashier at this point, but during the winter, I worked every single department. I would literally bring up someone for firewood, grab my gloves, and run out to the load them up, and come back in. And I got a lot of grief from managers, coworkers, employees, that I wasn't doing my job. So I looked at it like this. Well, what exactly is my job? So because I was a cashier, I was told to stay at the cash registers. But there was no one on the loading dock to load people up. So I was told by the general manager that I needed to help out with that. So these managers are all arguing over me, and customers would come in, and they need help. And no one was there to help them, because, again, we laid off 60% of our people. So I was helping them. I got a lot of grief from people, and I was put on probation several times, saying that I can't leave the register. And I had someone literally standing there watching over me, making sure that I wouldn't leave. So I went into work on Friday to have this meeting with the general managers and the other managers that were winning. And this had been after dealing with all this probation and hate from my coworkers. So I was so happy I wasn't a cashier anymore. And God basically placed me in a position to choose between several departments. Be a cash register, receiving, which is where all the contractors go for bulk items like a yard of topsoil, or annuals. And I really wanted to work in annuals, but God was telling me that I don't need to work in annuals. He was telling me that I need to be done in receiving. So I went down for my first day in receiving, and the managers down there are awesome. The first day I was down there, they taught me to drive a front end loader. A big 25-foot tall piece of machinery, bigger than any car. I could literally roll over a car and crush it. It was awesome. So I'm closing down the first night, and I'm out there practicing on the equipment, just learning. And customers came out, buying a yard of topsoil or 4 yards of mulch or something. And I'd load them up. And I'd come back inside, my managers were all awesome, they were all excited that I was doing this, blah, 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 blah. And I was thinking, man, if I was a cashier right now, I wouldn't be doing this. I'd be still stuck up there behind the counter with the lollipops and everything, just looking at people. Oh, hi, welcome to Maryfield. And that just wasn't who I was. I was a doer. I want to get out and do stuff. I don't want to be stuck in one spot and be doing one thing. So God's been using me to do things in Maryfield. I've worked now 4 or 5 different departments. Only department that I haven't worked is trees. I've worked in everything at Maryfield, and I've only been working there for 6 months. So, going back to this quantifying, we can't quantify our emotions. We can't quantify how we feel. So when we sit down and give, we technically aren't giving our full 10%. Because we're not giving, we can't put a number on an emotion. We can't put a number on how we did today. We can't say, oh God, you were good to me this week, I'm going to give you this amount. Oh, you weren't good to me this week, I'm going to give you this amount. We can't do that. That's just not giving God His glory. So, I'm glad that I am working full-time, and I'm going to school full-time. And that's all through God.
Amen.
So I give him not 10%, but 100%.
Wow.
Every day of my life.